low.
I've been playing Crimson Desert for 60 or so hours now, and I just wanted to give my impressions on it after all that time. Now, I have not finished the main campaign. I have not finished the game. I want to be very clear on that. I have played it for 60 goddamn hours, though, so I have put some time in. Now, the B-roll you'll see me using here, it's not very interesting. If you want to come here for gameplay footage, it's literally just me standing on top of a train. Yes, there's a train in this game. That's cool. Anyway, to get back to my starting point, apparently I'm about halfway through the game now, maybe a little over halfway. There are Steam achievement statistics that indicate that something like 20% of people who are playing Crimson Desert have reached this point. And I've reached that point, and I've put the hours in, and I have thoughts. And here are my thoughts. Now, first of all, I want to say, I wouldn't have played this game for as long as I have if I wasn't enjoying it. I want to be very clear on this. Anyone watching this who is an enormous fan of the game, anyone watching this who is not a fan of the game, all I can say is these are my subjective opinions. The word subjective is often forgotten these days. I have good and I have bad thoughts about the game. That doesn't mean overall I'm not enjoying it. So let's start with the good. I think it's a very good looking game. I think the world that you can explore is vast. This might seem, I suppose, in an Ubisoft or a post-Ubisoft era, if you want to call it that an enormous explorable map is not in and of itself a boon. It can possibly lead to very generic areas, very uninteresting areas, a repetition, if you will. I think Crimson Desert has a very interesting map. It has distinct regions, it has these distinct factions, it has secrets to find, it has a lot of points of interest that as a player will raise your eyebrows. There might be hidden ruins, there might be a hidden fortress, there might be a village with something going on, there might be a weird mechanical train line like you're witnessing now. There are lots of things to see. There's a jungle area, there are snow-capped mountains, this is perhaps less of a surprise for anyone who's looked at the title of the game, there is a large Crimson Desert. But there are also, within these factions, they have different religions, they have different political systems, they have different outlooks on life. I don't want to spoil it too much, but it is interesting. It's an interesting map. There are lots of mechanics in the game, and I don't mean car mechanics, I mean as in things you can do. There is an economy system, there is a system where you can gamble, there are systems where you can trade, there are systems where you can unlock areas that will allow you, the people you employ, that might be a spoiler, to learn new skills. You can gain goods, you can sell goods, you can clear an area manually, that is, you go in on your own and you fight them all with your weapon of choice, or you can send your troops in. And the world feels like it's lived in, actually. I think that's quite a rare thing in a modern sandbox game, that this world could exist without you, and indeed it does. There are a lot of choices to be made in terms of where you go, less so story-wise, we'll come back to that in a minute. But overall, I think the world that Pearl Abyss have created is very beautiful, it's very interesting, and it's very diverse. Okay, so now, after all that praise, perhaps faint praise, what don't I like about the game? Or rather, what things were I willing to put up with within the first 10 or so hours that after hour 60 I'm less willing to put up with? I think the first thing that strikes me is a lot of these systems and these mechanics, these cogs whirring under the hood, so to speak, are not very well explained, and I'm guessing that's because Pearl Abyss were initially an MMO developer. They made Black Desert Online, and so with an MMO, these mechanics are briefly explained, and then you have to go off and figure them out. In a single player game, that's a big ask. Like, quite often I will be shown something like how to trade goods or build a wagon or set up a camp, etc., etc., and then that's it. I'm just left to do it on my own, and it's not very satisfying from a narrative point of view. I also think that the puzzles in this game are quite bad. If you look up Crimson Desert bad puzzles, I'm not alone in that regard. But what do I mean by they're bad? Do I mean they're difficult? Do I mean that they are too common? Do I mean that they are poorly planned out? I think that quite often, because you have a skill tree in this game, and you can unlock lots of different skills and different abilities, and these puzzles can be solved with those abilities, it's not often obvious which one you should be using and where. Now, in a game, this is going to be obvious. It's going to be compared to a game like Breath of the Wild, Zelda Breath of the Wild, or Tears of the Kingdom. In that, the abilities you have and the way they can be used to solve puzzles are set up from the beginning of the game. And what you do is you come into an area, a dungeon, an arena, whatever you want to call it, and you think, all right, how do I use the tools I have to solve this puzzle? The problem with Crimson Desert is that you have so many tools at your disposal. You have an ability to set fire to things with your sword. You can pull things to and from you with like a kind of a lasso kind of thing. You can stick your sword in things. You can do all kinds of abilities, and you might often forget which ones you do and don't have, and it's not obvious which ones you should be using. That's not to say that the puzzles are unsolvable, but quite often I can't be bothered to do them. I just look up the answer. Now, if you want to downvote me for that, go right ahead, because that is very sloppy of me. But if I don't find a puzzle satisfying, or I don't enjoy solving it, I'm just going to look up the solution. It's a similar story with the bosses, actually. The bosses in this game are very different to the sort of run-of-the-mill enemies. Normally the enemies you fight in the game are quite easy to defeat. You can just attack them with your basic attacks, your basic sword swipes, spear stabs, whatever you prefer. The bosses have these movesets that require you to kind of learn them. I've heard people call this Souls-like. I disagree with this in the strongest possible terms. But they're also quite overpowered. Sometimes you just might meet a boss before you're ready to fight them. There is a level system in this game. You can upgrade armor and weapons in this game. Quite often, if you have trouble with a boss, go away for a bit, level up your skills, buff your armor, etc. Come back, you'll be fine. But if you're trying to follow the story mission, that's not always obvious. And it's not always fun as well. I think overall, I like this game. The patch cadence for it has been phenomenal. Like, Pearl Abyss have... they put out a patch the day I'm recording this. So I'm recording this on the 4th of May. They put out a patch on the Friday, so 2 days ago. And then the next day they put out a hot fix. They are really, really trying to fix this game. And so you might put this in the category of, I need to wait until this is a sale. I need to wait until this is finished before I buy it. And it's already sold, like I say, 5 million plus copies. So I don't think they're resting on their laurels at this point. I think they really do want to make this game something special. So how am I going to sum up the end of this video? I think I would say I like Crimson Desert. I think it's very interesting. I think it has flaws. It has things I really like. And that doesn't necessarily mean that perfection is the enemy of good. If you're going to come and play this game, you may have to have some patience. You may have to work around some headaches. In a year's time, I could look like a complete idiot. This video could be irrelevant. They would have fixed everything. It will be the perfect game. I don't know about that. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. And if you did, please like and subscribe.